Corona and Cloudcover walked softly into the massive room they found themselves in. The main theater room was vast, dark, and incredibly empty, save for the horrifying vision on the far wall. Dim, grime-covered lights cast a faint red glow about the object. It was a machine. Rusted and broken scaffolding hung precariously above the giant maw, its shape an inverse pyramid, stained black with Celestia knows what. The contraption was ancient and outdated, the body a simple cube housing, whatever mechanisms it needed to perform its mysterious duty. Olive green paint flaked off in sheets, and only the faintest outline of the corporation's logo could be seen plastered dead center. Cloudcover stuttered and shuddered at the ghastly image of the three smoke towers. The wings that burst from the outside stacks frightened the filly, and glancing back at her own, she recoiled from the appendages. 6 empty vats sat before the machines, and even in the obfunctious room they shone brightly. A peaceful rainbow that mocked the foals with its delicious irony. Immediately above each individual container hung a huge hose, frayed and sagging from decades of neglect. Corona gasped, jumping back and kicking at something Cloud couldn't see.
What are you doing?
Skeleton!
Bones! Pony bones!
The filly stopped, her heart following suit, and a cold sweat broke out over her body. The room was incredibly hot and musty. The stench of sweat and feces assaulted her nostrils, turning her stomach. Bracing herself, she leaned low to the floor and squinted, piercing the darkness as best she could. The ground was rife with bones, both decayed and tainted, their owners long forgotten without anyone to ever know who they were or how they died. Cloudcover swayed, her stomach threatening to empty what little contents remained into the clouds. She closed her eyes, imagining a cool, happy place.
I remember the field trip to Manhattan. That was awesome. Doing loops around the Empire Stable Building, seeing the Statue of Harmony, just relaxing with my friends and not worrying about surviving the next day. This is all just a dream.
Cloud opened her eyes. A hollow skull stared back at her.
Fuck. Corona? What are you doing? I can't see you. I'm searching for a light switch so the monsters don't seem so scary. I think I prefer having trouble seeing them. It's the unknown you're really afraid of. In the light, you can see and understand, and maybe life won't be as scary.
The thought struck the purple Pegasus, and she nodded, before remembering the colt couldn't see her, and spoke aloud.
That's actually really profound. This might be it,
Corona grunted as he hefted a huge breaker up. It sparked and smoked, causing him to flutter back in shock. Silence reigned for a minute, until a minor hum began in the distance, and grew louder till it seemed to echo. Almost all the lights flashed and burned out immediately, but 2 or 3 held their filaments. Cloudcover stumbled backwards, blind, recoiling from the horrible shapes that imprinted into her vision. A demonic figure stuck with her eyes, its arms open, beckoning the filly closer. No matter where she looked, the demon shimmered dead center in her vision, laughing at her, till her vision returned and the evil shadow faded away. Looking up, she shrieked, kicking herself backwards on a pile of dead foals. She screamed again, tumbling around the remains till she lay flat on her belly, cowering, hiding her eyes. Corona had simply passed out at the sight. There was no demon. Suspended in chains, her wings wide open, wrapped in twine, held only by cold metal around her forelegs, and up her back, hung a full-grown mare. Her mane was incredibly long and practically silver, with grease and dirt. Her fur was caked in a thick layer of soot and rust, hiding her cutie mark. As Cloudcover risked a single look, she locked eyes with the mare. The mare smiled. Cloudcover fainted.
What the Tartarus do you mean? You can't find them.
Gentle cringed from the cyan mare, yet kept her eyes locked.
I'm sorry, Miss Dash. They were in the power room, and they just weren't.
Rainbow Dash hung her head low, pacing in front of her desk.
Sorry. I've always had a bit of a temper, but I shouldn't take it out on employees of the corporation. This situation brings back bad memories. Very, very crappy memories. And I'm being stupid. Never mind.
Rainbow? Gentle tested, tilting her head up just the slightest. The manager tensed, turning back to the pink-maned pony with a glare. After a deep breath, she relaxed, smiled.
Yes, Mist Butterwing.
No pony has explained exactly what happened, but they all talk about it to the point where the knowledge is kinda, unnecessary. Maybe you, of all ponies, might be willing to discuss? The aged Pegasus was silent. She sat down at her desk and eyed Gentle, the rose-colored eyes so full of pain and confusion. Things at war in her head, she thought, like two concepts that can't coexist. Brilliant. Hyde loses his marks, and I get to be the school filly who tells the principal. Only in this case the principal strikes me as a psychopath. Oh, Celestia, it wouldn't surprise me if she could hear me think or something. Bunnies, robins, blue jays, happy-looking clouds. This isn't workplace appropriate. Higher efficiency and hail seed transmission via lines, hijacking the air conditioning system, use the superfluous flower supply to boost production on snowflake templates, increase production on the automatic, and allows for transferal of physical labor force to icicle inspection department, who in turn can finish the monthly quota 3 days ahead of schedule. Oh, sweet Thunderhead, she's still staring straight into my soul. Icicles like predetermined and in excess is not required. Extra time off for the crew. Employee morale increases tenfold. Worker production overall increases. Why isn't she blinking? She's just tapping her hooves, staring at me. I should probably blink too, and back to engineering, just in case this is an awful what she's going to do. Simple words would not suffice. Production increase around a single %, which allows us to begin controlling weather in unexplored grounds. We could tame the wild and return to the birthplace of Private Pansy. Imagine the honor. Gentle blinked, shocked at her own panic-induced epiphany. We could connect Cloudsdale to its ancestral roots under the corporation's name, resulting in a massive cultural boom and economic bonuses by changing the routing system in the hail seeds. Rainbow Dash flinched.
What?
Well, I'll write a report later. There's a lot of stuff in this facility that can be improved that would rewrite Cloudsdale's future with the CMC as the ink. Technology evolved. The grayish mayor spoke slowly, calling back her earlier conversation with Dr. Atmosphere. Is state-of-the-art. Oh, well, fine. Fair enough. Gentle conceded. She's right. With a little investment, state-of-the-art could be more obsolete than weapons of Equestria. But I like your thinking. I'd like to see the report if you can get around to it. Thinking about the company. I like that. Sit down, Gentle. The green mare did as told, her train wreck of a thought process halted completely. The slightest feeling of victory danced in her stomach, but Gentle didn't allow that to show. She would have to celebrate later. So, the incident? Gentle inquired. I've heard something about a bunch of failures getting loose and a security break that inspired all the renovations. And that's all I know. I murdered my sister. Gentle smiled lightly, her eyelids fluttering uncontrollably. In cold blood. Well, no. There was a lot of anger. She failed the test, and I had trained her properly. I trusted her, you know. Gentle continued to smile, staring off into space. I used to defend those I loved,
and would always put them before myself, until she ruined everything. To so selflessly defend everyone I ever loved and stood up for, it was never repaid to me. Not ever. Sure, my friends would be nice and helpful and supportive, but when it came time to put myself before them, suddenly they were busy or I wasn't worth it.
Gentle nodded softly, a kind smile still on her muzzle.
So, of all the ponies out there, out of any pony there who could have been, the one who I loved the most, trained the most, and gave the most, she had the gall to throw it all away and let herself become useless. Useless to the flock, to the corporation, and most importantly, me. My sister. Well, she wasn't really my sister, but pretty much everyone considered us to be anyways. We were that close, but whatever. She failed me.
Gentle continued to blink chaotically, the smile beginning to falter.
And so, I switched loyalties. If it were so easy for everyone else I ever knew to switch loyalties that seamlessly and without regret, then why couldn't I? I pledged to protect and foster the Cloudsdale Weather Corporation. It's the only entity that has ever not let me down, as long as I've cared for it. You murdered your sister? I murdered a failure!
Rainbow Dash slammed her hooves onto the desk, kicking her chair back as she erupted.
My sister will live on in my mind as a memory of that perfect pony who'd never let me down. The failure is dead. My sister is alive. Up here!
She knocked her skull several times, emphasizing her point.
Is there anything else you need to know, Gentle? I've given you the why. Perhaps the how? I'm more inclined for the what. No, Miss Dash. Thank you for informing me. I shall inform Dr. Atmosphere regarding the failures.
The cyan Pegasus turned away, walking towards the rear of the office.
Tell him to prepare the elevator and a Pegasus device. I want those failures to come straight to me, and I want a device warmed up just for them. It's been so long since I've had a friend to talk to.
Cloudcover shook violently. The horror and disgust that rose in her stomach berated her, physically trying to escape her body. The mare swung gently on the chains in some unfelt breeze, causing the twine to tug at patches of feathers it had missed. Her voice was childish and raspy, devoid of any sense of maturity, but the mare enunciated well and her words carried across the main room. I used to have these great friends. Friends who helped me learn who I was, and friends who helped me become who I would have been. No one, Epri, gives thanks for their friends. Friends are cool. Are you going to be my friend? The dialogue stopped, and Cloudcover could only hear the light squeal of rusted metal move as the mare swung. I think I'd really like a friend. You haven't hurt me yet, so you're a friend. I didn't treat my friends that well. I acted like they annoyed me when I really loved them so much instead. Now I feel bad for it. I wonder what my friends are doing now. They probably don't think about me. No pony thinks about me. That's why I'm down here. So no pony will ever think about me again. I'll think about you. Cloud gasped as Corona stepped closer to the creature. The colt was obviously terrified, but there was a sincerity in the mare's eyes that drew him close. I'll think about you, and I'll be your friend. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. He turned to Cloud. What about you? Will you be my friend? The filly sighed, stood up, and walked closer to Corona. Yes, I'll be your friend. The mutilated Pegasus sobbed once, but smiled immediately after.
I have friends again, just like the old days. Are you a ghost? Cloud cover! Not a ghost. I am a pony. A pet. A Pegasus? No, I'm not a Pegasus.
The mare shook her shackles, the twine bouncing and pulling at her wings.
Not a Pegasus. I'm a pestilence to our race, they call me. And so they keep the world safe from me. A purposeless monster.
She tugged apathetically at her binds as if they were part of her, her expression blank and accepting. Her voice was flat, monotone, like she was commenting on life from a third-person view.
I guess I am a ghost, actually. That's neat. I like that. Being a ghost is fun.
Corona's revulsion faded in a snap.
This is just a child, he thought. Her body's full, but she's younger than Cloud or I in the head. What did they do to her?
The foal turned to his friend, whispering his concern into her ear. This mare was no monster. Cloudcover looked upon the prone body, and the hideous image changed in her eyes. Broken, hurt, abused, purposefully tortured by the corporation for a reason that was no longer apparent. The filly gazed at the soft eyes and warm smile that beamed upon her. Instead of a demon, the pony was a shadow, a shell, a faded image of life once worth living. Cloud began to cry.
Who?
She sobbed, unable to see the figure anymore.
Who are you?
The mare choked, an innocent smile shattered. Her whole body, smile, and everything sank low.
I don't know. I knew once, then I forgot. They wouldn't let me remember, because the old me was bad. Very bad. Bad for Pegasi, bad for the flock. Praise the No, no praising. I'm not part of the flock anymore. I was exiled. Is there a name we can call you? Anything that sounds like a name to you? And what's your cutie mark, maybe? That'll help.
The bound Pegasus craned her neck, attempting to view her flank without twisting the barbed wire. Whatever image may or may not have been there was camouflaged by a lifetime's worth of dirt. The fur was crusted and rank. It would have taken a pressure washer to reveal the cutie mark underneath. She turned back, somehow managing to shrug apologetically despite her unique position.
No mark. Oh well. It's probably just something about being tied up. Ropes or cuffs, perhaps. It's missing, along with my memories and my purpose. My name is missing. Missing.
Cloudcover frowned, thinking hard. One of the many books she had read when neglecting flight practice had been about the history of the Alicorns. Their language had almost died, but a few historians, as well as the Alicorns themselves, had managed to compile a dictionary to help educate foals and the rebirth of the forgotten tongue. Celestia meant sung, and Luna meant moon. This mare is missing. Missing, which was... Think, Cloudcover. You can do one thing. It's think.
Absentia,
she burst, jumping in her excitement.
It's not much, and it's not got the best connotation, but it's a name. What do you think?
The mare shook in happiness.
I have a name. I have a name. That's the most anyone has given me in a long time. Thank you, friend.
Absentia smiled so wide her eyes almost disappeared.
But one name isn't enough. What's yours? Well, I'm Corona, and that's Cloudcover. Lovely names. I love them. Names are wonderful. Now, why are you here? No one comes here with a caretaker. and he doesn't speak to me unless it's mean or hurtful. We're here because... Sorry, did you say caretaker? Stallion with a lab coat?
Absentia's face scrunched in concentration.
That sounds like all the workers. So maybe? He keeps me fed and takes me for walks?
She flexed a leg, showing off a measly amount of muscle.
I'm not allowed to starve or lose my strength. I have to walk around the factory once every couple of days. It feels nice.
The foals looked at each other in disgust.
They walk you? That's revolting. Unbelievable. No matter why, no creature on this planet should endure this abuse. Corona! Yes, ma'am.
The colt snapped at attention, shocked by his friend's sudden conviction, and stood tall.
Go break that lock over there. That one by the breaker switch. We're going to get Absentia down. We're going to sit down and eat and recover and find out just what the flock is going on in this desolate pit.
She launched, spiraling around the mare until their faces became level.
Am I going for a walk? We went yesterday. Today isn't a walking day. Absentia? So sorry. But this may hurt a lot. I'm going to get the wire off your wings so you can fly. They may snag you, but I'll try my best. Understand?
Her strained and bloodshot eyes filled with tears.
Flying. It's been so long since I've flown. It's worth any pain to fly. Even if it is for the last time. I want to soar. That's good, Absentia. Focus on that.
Cloudcover reassured the other, cringing as she slowly revealed the twine, peeling it off from the feathers. The blackened pony whimpered, and Cloud spoke again.
Just tell me about flying. Tell me about how badly you want to fly, and what you remember of flying. I remember gliding, looping, tricks and thrills with others from the academy. I don't remember anything but flying. Luna, it's wonderful. Bliss. Like swimming in cold silk and breathing real, fresh air. Without flight, I'm nothing. I'm nothing now because I can't fly. Soon I'll fly, and I will not be nothing. I'll be something, because I'll have that. They won't be able to take that away from... Ow! Sorry. Almost done. Keep talking. It hurts. But this pain is worth it. I'm getting something back for it. I deserve the reward. So this pain is necessary and good. Flight. Flight. Flight.
Absentia repeated the word over and over, tasting it, feeling it roll off her tongue, experimenting with inflections and accent. She spoke louder, the word bursting from her muzzle in an increasing shout, as the agony and excitement flared within her. Cloudcover removed the last curl of wire and signaled to Corona. Nodding, he turned away from the clasp next to him and bucked it, bending it. Driven by the filly's sudden ferocity, he started a quick rhythmic beating on the buckle, panting as his young legs made a little progress on the metal. Slow down, Corona, he thought. Power and control is more useful here than speed. He paused, breathing deeply, and looked down between his legs. He lifted a single hoof, aiming it with more care than he had ever taken in his life, and kicked. The lock burst apart, and the chain previously fastened below whipped up at incredible speed, skimming his mane hard enough to cut it. Absentia plummeted to the floor, landing so hard the cloud floor erupted around her.
Absentia? Are you okay?
Cloudcover leaned in close, peering through the slowly fading mist. A silhouette emerged from the mist, standing proud and strong, its wings furled and unfurled, testing, stretching, each feather twitching in succession in a glorious display of revitalization. I'm better than okay. I'm wonderful. I'm no longer held still by the corporation.
Is that food? Food is a good idea. Can I have some food?
The foals looked at the feed bags played on the floor, the grain slightly spilled. They turned back to Absentia.
Well, yeah? Cool.
And she dove at the feed bag faster than the CWC Corporation Premium Class Lightning Bolt strikes. Contail sat on his haunches, rocking back and forth, giddier than a foal in a confectionery. Pipe Wrench sat on his haunches, surveying the damage in front of him. The lower factory was in shambles. Electric wires swung haphazardly, sparking randomly and occasionally sending a blast of power down whatever metal it could connect with. Steam escaped from fractured pipes, superheating sections of the hallway. One particular line was leaking, the liquid thunder pouring menacingly in front of the two.
I want to touch it. It's shiny and blue, and like me, but radioactive. Except Hyde always says I'm radioactive. I like nuclear power. Uncontrollable, constant, and unlimited.
Despite his high energy, his laughter had slowed, along with his voice. The incredibly long hours and chase had gotten to Contail, and his eyes drooped, the only voice of truth about the stallion's body. "We're like a bomb," Pipe Wrench grumbled. "One ready to go off in a second. Scared to have to get the energy that way. I'm gonna need to fix this." The ceiling groaned, and below, from their sick child, and the hallway started to vibrate. Pipe Wrench froze, and amazingly, so did Contail. The metal in the walls started to resonate as the groaning noise grew louder. The facility complained incessantly until a small water transfer pipe popped, springing a tiny leak which managed to silence the symphony.
That wasn't so bad.
As if challenged by Contail's commentary, the roof collapsed, dropping a set of scaffolding from the floor above into the destruction below. Dozens of new pipes exploded, adding to the chaos and hazard.
Nope, not bad at all.
The three prisoners huddled around the feed bag, slowly munching on hooffuls of grain. Despite all that had happened, they sat back and relaxed. Relief flooded Cloudcover's body, emptying her mind of all the worries and doubts she had before. For the first time in days, she, as well as the other two, felt totally at peace. They had all eaten relatively little earlier, and then, exhaustion having saturated them, fallen asleep. For how long they were out, Cloud couldn't tell, but she didn't care. They had managed to sleep without getting caught, and that was all that mattered. Fully rested, they indulged themselves in the provisions, eating in silence so as not to waste any valuable time by talking. Now the trio lay back, patting full bellies and burping with great satisfaction. For Cloudcover, the tides had turned, and no matter what they were up against, they were now on the attack. She rolled over, smiling, formulating a plan. Fantasies filled her thoughts. Fantasies of the factory falling to a billion pieces, of the workers all plummeting from the sky, Celestia reprimanding the managers, sentencing them to fates worse than death they had caused, all the ponies of Cloudsdale, the glorious flock, welcoming back and accepting the three as heroes of the race. All they had to do was escape. She bolted upright and smacked her face.
Leave the dreaming for later,
she sighed, getting to her hooves.
We don't stand a chance just yet.
Corona jerked himself awake, frowning bleary-eyed at the filly.
What's the matter? You were so set on blowing this place to smithereens, and now you're moping again?
Cloud scowled at him, shaking her head.
It's not that, you dolt. I still am. But we have no idea where we really are, or how to get out of this level of the factory anyways. We've got no one who knows where to go.
Absentia perked up from her grains.
I know this place like I know my shins. I can help. I can't wait to help my new friends. Helping is nice, and that's what friends do for each other. I also like walks. They feel good and give me something to do. They're fun. Where are we going anyways?
Well, Corona stammered, slightly shocked that the mayor hadn't picked up on the concept of their goals yet.
We're going to get out. Like, leave this place. But the door's right over there. You don't need me for that, silly.
She laughed, her voice cracking with foolish innocence. Cloudcover couldn't help but smile at the joy of the blackened pony's face.
No,
She chuckled.
like,
The whole building.
we're going to escape.
Absentia froze and her grin dropped like a rock.
Escape.
She mouthed, her eyes wide in wonder.
What a lovely word. It sounds so familiar.
She blinked rapidly, allowing the concept to permeate her head.
I know. I heard it after I got off the leash one day, and they brought me back. I was really close to the exit sign, too. It looked pretty, and I wanted to see it. Escape.
She muttered again.
Every time I tried to run from someone, that's what they called it. When I ran from my caretaker to the sign, they called it escaping. When I ran from Dash to the world outside, they called it Celestia. Who's Dash? Absentia? Do you remember something? It's foggy. I don't know why, but I needed to. But why from Dash? Dash is the greatest. She's so awesome. I'm proud of her, too. Absentia?
Corona edged in, waving a hoof in front of the nostalgic mare.
Who's Dash? And why are you proud of her? She's just the most amazing pony in Equestria is all. And she has a well-paying job. She managed the Rainbow Factory.
She looked up slowly, her warm smile slowly morphing into the biggest expression of anguish Cloudcover had ever seen. In an instant, she shrieked and cried, rolling on the floor.
No. No, Dash, no. I'm sorry. I didn't try to fail you. I'll get better. I'll get better for you, Rainbow Dash. Stop. Let go of me. Leave me alone. I'm sorry. No, no, no. For Luna's sake, snap her out of it, Cloud. I don't know what's going on. Come on, Absentia, it'll be fine. It'll be okay. You're fine now. You're okay. Ow!
The filly flew into her back as the flailing mare struck her. She shook herself as soon as she could and got back up, turning just in time to see Corona clenching onto one of Absentia's forehooves, holding it as if his life depended on it.
Quick! Grab her other one. Calm her down.
She leaped to the leg, wrapping her small body around it as it beat her into the solid clouds. She managed to stretch her head over to Absentia's, cooing softly to the mare.
Let go. I'll try again and I won't fail you, I promise. Shh, it's all right. Your friends are here. No one's trying to hurt you. It's okay, we're here for you. Take it easy. Deep breaths. I'll never fail anyone again. Especially not you, Dash. Dash, please. I love you. You were... No. Please, Dash, no. Absentia. There. We're going to take you to see more friends. Dash isn't here. She's not here, Absentia. Everyone is gone now, but us. It's okay. We have more friends somewhere close. You need to calm down. It's okay. What?
Absentia had stopped moving and was staring deeply into Cloudcover's bright yellow irises, lost, somehow managing to focus despite the tears. She didn't blink, only looked deeply at the filly, never breaking her line of vision.
Please, Dash, you were my sister. Absentia, are you okay?
Corona asked curiously, trying to draw the mare's attention. He received no response. The mare was catatonic, staring blankly and blinking, but mouthing words.
What'd you think, Cloud? She look all right? Well, she stopped crying. That blank smile on her face again. I think we should try bringing her to the power room. Maybe being around, friends will help her recover? Oh. So we're just going to carry a fully grown pony on our backs through a mysterious and possibly trapped hallway, where at any moment other ponies trying to kill us may jump out and bark at us or something, and then go back into a room that we almost definitely got trapped in, and break out a bunch of mentally challenged and frail failures to help us take down a system that has built itself around the very concept of crushing resistances like this in the first place. Don't forget that half of the route to the power room is destroyed, so we'll have to find another way. Brilliant. Just brilliant. And you used to be the pessimistic one.
Corona sighed, grabbing one last hooful of grains before leaving sideways, lifting Absentia's haunches and sliding it onto his back.
I remember that at around this time of day, if I'm even about right about what time it is right now, I'd be eating a nice bowl of cereal and watching cartoons with my parents. Now I'm hauling a mare through a building designed to murder me. Fun times. You're starting to sound like me. Now march, mister.
Gentle sat in the main chair in front of the view screens, quietly panning the cameras below, deep in thought. Beside her, Gage relayed messages through the loudspeaker, changing pressure systems and rerouting fluid movement throughout the entire lower factory, helping the assembled group of workers below isolate the damaged sector so they could begin repairs. Suddenly, they were busy, and I wasn't worth it. That poor mare. I know all about that. You put your heart and soul into helping others, and they crush you with a lack of appreciation. But they act nice to you, and say kind words, and because they inflate your ego, you think they're your friends. And you continue to sacrifice everything you built for yourself, just to see them smile. True friends help each other.
Yeah, looks like the major water line behind the wall's been fractured from a separate explosion. There's no other spot along that line that's reporting a drop, but try blank sweat, I don't know. We need that particular pipe patched or we'll lose up to 30% cloud production by the end of the week. Cut the cloud wall if you have to.
The orange stallion leaned in close, listening to the muffled voices coming from the loudspeaker on his screen. It shouldn't be Teflon infused. Just grab an air torch or something. I don't care, I just need it fixed. Moving on. Okay, that pipe is liquid thunder. Let me just reverse the flow and send it to the auxiliaries. Manure. We've got steam running through those ones already.
The corporations never let me down either. It's been tough, sure, and some days they work as brutal, but it's been consistent. I've never seen any other company have such high retention rate ever. They treat you right here. They show you your importance. It keeps us from falling. They...
Gentle paused her mindless scrolling, raising in her seat a bit.
Who are they?
Got it. Gentle, vent the chemical lines above the secondary power lead, will you?
When? Sorry. On it. Vent them where?
Just vent them. I don't care. It's just something we used to mix to clean the Pegasus device. Probably stagnant now. Dump 'em. Gentle went through the actions, clearing the vent in the area, void of workers, as far as she could tell from the screens anyway, and watched as hundreds of gallons of some off-white sludge slid grotesquely out of the open valve, and through the grating hidden by fog. Satisfied it cleared, she closed it off and continued scrolling aimlessly. Right. Who am I kidding? Useless to the flock, to the corporation. They would be the collective of Pegasi from Cloudsdale. This is the public's invention. Oh, my holocorn. My tax dollars went to keeping us safe, keeping us proud. That's not so bad. Still feels wrong, though. But I'm scared. We need to get these failures dealt with before it's too late. Just then, the massive doors creaked open, overwhelming the computer room with incredibly strong gusts of wind before they slammed shut again. Hyde and Rainbow Dash strolled in, mumbling heated words at each other. Any luck? The rainbow-maned Pegasus questioned, stopping mid-stride. Nothing. I can't find them anywhere. Even the fog is resting undisturbed. The destroyed section can't hide them either. I've browsed every room with cameras available. I've yet to see one undisturbed. Dash turned to Hyde, glaring at his smirk. Fine. Go. Start it. The burden is on you. Thank you, Miss Dash. Enough. Chuckling, Dr. Atmosphere practically jogged out of the room joyously. No, wait! Wait! No! What the Tataris are you idiots doing? Don't route the steam through that junction! You'll blow the crystal generators! Gage slammed on his console, screaming into the mic at the workers far below him. The trio he watched on the screen froze, turning towards the sound of his voice. A radio crackled, capturing the workers' response. "We have a complete rupture of the primary line, and the secondary line is being utilized to divert water pressure off that valve. What more do you want from us?" "Oh, come on, there's got to be a way we can." "Short of completely switching over the water lines with the liquid thunder lines, we're going to have to knock those crystal generators out. It'll be a big mess, but not as big as this if we don't get it fixed." Gage slid back from his chair, wiping his muzzle with a heavy hoof. Fine. Then I'll switch those lines. Gentle, I'm going to need you to monitor all my actions as well. Those guys downstairs will be fine on their own," he added, speaking back into his mic. "Keep cycling the steam through those pipes until I finish. I'll keep you busy while I fix this. And out of trouble. Got it?" "Understood. You better hurry." "All right. Gentle, set your screen to the junction room. The major transfers go through the cyclone room, but pretty much every single pipeline is routed through the junction room for emergency maintenance such as this. The room is a nightmare, though, so you'll need to watch that I don't do anything stupid. Okay?"
"Okay. Got it. I'll see you when you get there."
The mare turned back to the television in front of her, her train of thought gone. She stared at the fog for several seconds, totally blank.
"It's not going anywhere."
She sighed, changing cameras. Cloud Cover panted deeply, her knees shaking under the combination of weight from the unconscious mare and fear from the massive load of caustic liquids that just missed her muzzle by an inch. Corona looked incredulously at the filly next to him.
"I think,"
he whispered, slowly bringing his eyes to the streaming hole that used to be the grating,
"that they might know we're here." Maybe they think they got us with that." "Doesn't matter, I'd say. Carry on."
Cloudcover nodded and shuffled past the gaping hole with incredible care. They realigned Absentia on their backs and took off slowly through the thick mist. The facility was far from the dark and noiseless building it was when they arrived. Lights blared in all the hallways, and echoes of hammering wrenches and shouting workers bounced off every pipe and machine. Despite, or possibly due to, Cloud was unsure, the chaos, not one single employee of Cloudsdale Weather Corporation happened to catch sight of the two foals with a pony on their backs. Simultaneously, they stopped at the edge of the fog, leaning the slightest bit out to look for any sign of capture.
"I guess they're all behind us, fixing the mess. The power room is just a bit to the left, about 200 feet down."
Cloud spoke.
"Should we make a run for it?" "I think so. How about you, Absentia?"
They glanced at her.
"Run, please. Don't fall." "I think that's a yes."
Steadily, the mare, as much as possible, they kicked off the ground at once and galloped hard towards their goal.
"Hey, wait, whoa!"
Gentle kicked back from her seat and smacked the control ball, spinning through a dozen cameras without slowing.
"I think... There! Gage, oh, right. He's gone."
She turned around and gasped as she found her nose almost touching Rainbow Dash's.
Hello. I found the failures. They're heading towards the power room. They were carrying something, but I couldn't see what it was. Looked large and heavy, like an adult. Could be supplies or possibly a hostage. The old factory workers did mention one of them didn't check in after the detonations."
Rainbow Dash narrowed her rose eyes, staring deep into Gentle's.
"Well, I'm curious. Handle the situation, Miss Butterwing. If I were not standing here right now, if you had the controls into this corporation in this room, as you do right now, and had no one to guide your actions, what would you do?"
"Miss Dash?
I don't quite follow." "It's simple. I've had enough challenges to my authority today that by now I'm rather curious to see where your loyalties lie. Take control."
Gentle nodded slowly, sitting back at the controls,
Lower factory? We have a confirmed sighting of the failures. Keep only essential staff cycling the steam to assist Gage. Everyone not required move directly to the power room. The failures are now marked useless resources and must be disposed of. Don't get creative. Just kill them. Her legs started shaking violently at the last sentence as it escaped her mouth. Ah, Celestia, what have I done? Rainbow Dash knelt low, picking up one of Gentle's hooves in her own. Does it feel wrong, Gentle, to order another Equian dead? Well, of course it feels wrong to. Why did I? I could have let them go, couldn't I? Right then? Did it feel wrong, Gentle? Was issuing that order right now the wrong decision? No, it didn't. They're failures. It's best for the corporation. Rainbow Dash stood up and started walking towards the door. She smiled slightly. Good girl. She spoke under her breath. Snowflake burst up from the floor as the foals fell into the room. He pressed his bony face to the bars and managed to crack a massive smile. The image unsettled Cloudcover, as if Snowflake's face had split. She shook her head and hauled Absentia deeper into the power room as Corona grabbed the keys off the computer console. You made it! And you found the ghost! Excellent day, a wonderful day indeed. Yes, good, all right. What now? You seemed like you had that figured out last time we spoke. Did I? Interesting. I was kind of hoping the ghost would take lead from here. I need upstairs. Every pony froze, turning their heads to the restless mare on the floor. Corona glanced at Cloud before turning back to the door, his hoof resting on the key to the lock. Cloud struggled and leaned low to Absentia. Hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? I need upstairs. Now. I need to be upstairs fast. Well, that's our problem, Absentia. That's not my name. The lavender filly blanched, taken aback. You remember your name? Yes. It's not important, though. It never was. Never will be. But that's not my name, remember that. Remember it so I don't forget it again. She swayed, struggling to stand on 4 hooves until Cloud helped her up. I remember more, too. Like what? Like how to get upstairs. But I've tried in the past, and I need help. There's too many ponies down here. We'll need a distraction. The fight! Snowflake stomped his hoof, beaming at the idea. And a glorious battle it shall be! It's time we took arms and repaid those monsters for the abuse we endured! Slow down, Corona urged, unlocking the gate and stepping back to let the prisoners out. Yeah, calm yourself. We need to make a plan first and foremost. We can charge headlong at the workers, but I can't see that working. It won't. Absentia spit. Take my word for it. Listen, we need to think. We need to realize this for exactly what it is. And what is that, Absentia? A war. A war against, I don't know, some imagined threat we look like, us feeble and broken ponies. A war we've been losing for over 1,000 years, and one which we will continue to lose unless we do something about it. We need to fight back, and we need to never stop fighting back, and we need to fight back until we win. Do you understand? There's no more retreating, no more hiding, no more gathering back to regroup and do the same damn thing us failures have been doing for hundreds of decades. She stumbled, dropping her bravado with a sniff. I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of accepting failure. I'm tired of accepting I am a failure. The scrawny and panged Pegasi gathered around Absentia. The fury crept back to their faces like a shadow, obscuring their features save for the purple eyes that burned a hole in the cloud below. They sat, waiting, listening. Absentia rose above them all, her legs steadying on rigid pillars, as she continued to speak. We can run out there like the morons they expect us to be, or we can take the time to create a plan, an final threat. Whatever we decide to do will be the last chance we have. Management won't let us be an issue anymore. Fool me once, she chuckled. We're here to represent every foal to whoever has been brought here, in the past or future. That's why we're here. Not just to be killed. This is our claim to glory. The savers of the children of the Pegasi. We're soldiers now, fighting on the front lines. We can never stop or back down. We've been broken for far too long, and it's time to come back stronger than ever. If we fail every scared and lonely fool to ever pass through those great thunderhead clouds. Do you understand?
Slowly, one by one, every pony in the room straightened their backs and extended their necks. Snowflake puffed his chest open, and Corona followed suit, causing a rippling effect of foals mimicking the action.
I said, do you understand?
For the foals!
For our freedom!
For the life you never had. Cloudcover spoke softly, staring at the mare in front of her. The room became silent as Absentia turned her head and looked directly into the filly's eyes. A tear ran down the greasy fur, cleaning just the slightest patch of dirt from the bright orange underneath.
And the lives you're entitled to live,
she finished, nodding in appreciation. The group surrounding her broke out into cheering and hoof-bumping, renewed with a sense of purpose once again. Snowflake was crying and laughing, and he walked up to Absentia. I've never had a chance to meet such a better ghost until now. These foals you see here follow what I say. I don't know why, but it sure is useful. You will have the complete cooperation of any of us to help. He moved over to Cloud and Corona, saluting. I must thank you two for your bravery. Tonight shall be a good night. I just know it. You two will rejoin your families and friends. For the rest of us, well, our loved ones have learned to hate us by now. Tonight we will simply attain peace. Now then, Cloudcover, Absentia called, turning to the filly. You've seen most of this place by now. I don't know if any of it has changed since I last broke out. What do you think? Everything looks incredibly old and dirty. I don't think it's been messed with. Some of the workers are back by the damage one floor up, where that vent comes out. She pointed at the broken duct that she and Corona had first fallen through. I'm going to guess that that computer over there controls most of the piping systems, because from what I've seen of those generators, they're pretty automatic. There was an announcement right before we made it in here, Corona added to the conversation. They know we're here, and most of the workers are coming to kill us. We probably don't have much time to fool around with complicated machines. Then we'll need to buy some time. Anyone who feels strong enough, gather up. You'll need to rush the workers before back to the damaged area. Cause enough confusion, and maybe they'll fall back to keep the broken pipes from causing problems. Anyone here know anything about computers? We'll need to hack into that one to cause some trouble. Hold up, a gray filly piped up from a corner. This isn't Applewood. Just because we're kids doesn't mean we're hip and know how to hack. Right. Any computers experience at all then? Well, it's probably just password protected, and we can't reprogram it. I enrolled in flight school, not a technical institute. For the love of Hydras, anyone? Has any pony ever touched an electronic? The group was quiet, looking at each other. A violent whispering was heard, and after several seconds, another dark gray foal, a colt, was pushed to the front. His cutie mark, a large joystick, seemed to shine in the green glow of the vats.
I played a lot of video games.
Absentia ran a hoof down her face, groaning.
Okay, well, you're right. This isn't a movie, Cloudcover. You seem very good at noticing things. You stay here and work on the computer with... Elite. Really? Whatever. Cloud, you stay with Elite and the other fools that might be able to help. Get the computer screwed up, I don't care what you do. Mess with the systems in any way possible. On it!
Corona and Snowflake were together by the doors when Cloud's group started setting up at the computer.
Hey, you take care out there, alright? If you get yourselves killed, I'll smack your face. Listen, Don't get caught or anything, alright? I'll be upset if I have to rescue your flank.
They smiled weakly and looked down at their hooves. Well, Corona spoke, his voice cracking.
This is it. For the flock, eh? That stupid phrase. What we always used to say before feats of bravery. Doesn't carry the same weight anymore, does it? For each other, Corona. For each other, he agreed. Snowflake, are you ready?
Troops have assembled and we're ready for deployment, Sergeant.
Right. Let's go. Grab anything heavy you can swing with your mouth. Let's knock those evil monsters back so these guys can get us out of here.
The group roared and stampeded forward, bashing through the doors so hard that the hinges bent, seizing themselves open.
Right,
Elite mumbled.
Let's take a look at this computer.
Enter command, it displayed. The Colt typed the word self-destruct and smacked the enter key. As if. Enter command.
Ah, feather sticks. How about...
He entered shut off. Command, enter.
This is going to be harder than I thought. Any ideas, Cloud? Let me try. Ah, manure!
Gentle punched the computer console, sliding her chair over to the junction room's monitor. In it, Gage was carefully maneuvering around a spiderweb of scalding hot pipes and bare electrical wires. Unlike the other ones, the screen was completely silent. The stallion had reached the section of conduit he had to rearrange, and was dancing around, turning valves and disassembling lines.
Gage,
Gentle shouted into the microphone.
the failures are rushing the workers. You need to get back here and help me handle this.
The stallion continued working, completely mute.
Oh, for the love of Luna!
The mare bolted out of the room, leaving her chair spinning noisily. As the door slammed shut behind her, the radio crackled. Corona panted heavily around the object in his mouth. It was some sort of large plier that he had never seen before. It didn't matter to him. It was heavy and he could hold it. He galloped hard with his head low, looking dead ahead with a glare that could scare Cerberus. His hooves slammed into the metal grating, joining the echo of a dozen other stampeding ponies. With every beat of his hooves, drums went off in his head.
Take things slow may help, he thought, but sometimes faster is necessary.
The symphony of hoofbeats started reaching the workers, who began to look around in confusion. The scarred and grungy muzzles only served to infuriate Corona. He pushed himself harder than ever, leading the pack of fools behind him forward with a mighty cry out of the corner of his mouth. The workers started picking up and panicking at the shout.
Snowflake!
Aye, Sergeant!
Are you ready?
I must expect I will be, Corona. Otherwise, I doubt I'd be charging headlong into an uninterrupted doom, of course. How about yourself, comrade?
Well, I reckon I spent my entire life in fear of the flock's opinion, and in fear of my own weakness. I've always believed that I was truly useless, a real failure.
And? Snowflake asked, picking up his pace to run alongside the orange pony. Corona glanced up at the workers. They now stood in a braced line around a select few that continued to work on the destroyed section of factory.
There's no such thing as useless,
he grunted, kicking his hind legs against the ground so hard it propelled himself high above the first worker that came running up to him. He flipped deftly, bringing the pliers down with incredible force, that the crunch came out as it connected, could be heard all throughout the shouts and battle cries. The moment he landed, his stomach flipped to the idea of what he'd just done, and the nausea almost incapacitated him.
Pipe wrench! You all right? Need a painkiller? That pain looked killer!
Corona swayed, staring at the erratic stallion towering above him. Despite the sky-blue pony's laughter, incredible sadness worked its way into his muzzle. He started laughing more hysterically, stepping closer and farther from the gray colt before him. With a final howl, some demented cross between a wail of sorrow and the jolliest of chortling, he took off into the air and flew away, spinning like a bullet. As Corona whirled to watch him, a hoof collided with his cheek, knocking him down to the ground.
You think just 'cause that crazy coward runs away, you've won? I've got news for you, Colt. You're gonna die.
Corona cringed at the lab-coated mare before him. Corona whacked his mind as she licked her muzzle, smiling at the failure before her.
I don't know. It is strange. The sadness on that stallion's face. They're equins as much as us. Why can't we just figure this out? Why can't we talk it over? Surely we could reach a compromise. They've got to hate themselves for this. Celestia. I love the squeal when I snap the waist of Wing's neck. I just love it.
The mare reared, spinning her forehooves over Corona's head.
Or not.
He grunted, rolling to his left and pulling the pliers out of Pipe Wrench's skull and whipping them up as hard as he could. They slammed into the mare's jaw, just as she was inches away from Corona, blowing her over to the side at the last second. He scrambled to his hooves and dragged the pliers off the edge of the scaffolding, lest one of the workers managed to grab them. He felt a set of legs wrap around his, hearing the snarl of the mare behind him. He started running fiercely, slipping on the metal grating and sliding into place. His rear hooves happened to slam into her face over and over, until finally her legs released him and she slid backwards, unconscious, off the scaffolding. Corona turned and looked over the edge, watching the worker tumble and fall into the blackness below. She didn't open her wings. The world seemed to tilt as the gravity of his action came back to him. He began to walk slowly in the middle of the battle, miraculously avoiding every kick, punch, and swing of a wrench. Shrieks of pain issued from young and old as splatterings of warm liquid misted his face. Corona watched the end of the skirmish, looking down towards the power room. The sky-blue stallion was at the midpoint, rocking back and forth. His sobs were quiet, but they reached Corona like a tribal drum in his ear. Behind him, the struggle continued, his absence unnoticed. Snowflake was practically dancing to music only he could hear, his movements fluid and beautiful as he fought. As he kicked one worker down, his tail swished elegantly up to the eyes of another, blinding them. He pirouetted, knocking the blinded worker over and using the repelling force to fall backwards onto the first stallion he fought, forcing the air out of his lungs. Various other foals fared differently. Some seemed to be expert fighters, holding off, even incapacitating, the employees. Others were on the ground, unrecognizable pulps instead of foals. Yet every single one that could move was still fighting back. Not one of the failures had run away despite the overwhelming odds. Corona continued walking until he reached the crying stallion. He hesitated, afraid of the worker, but decided it was worth the risk.
Hey,
he asked, tapping the Pegasus. He turned with bloodshot eyes and looked Corona over before burying his face in his hooves again.
there's nothing funny about any of this.
What?
There's nothing funny. Nothing to laugh about. My French is gone. Just gone. And he did nothing wrong. Nothing. His whole life he's devoted himself just to working hard and keeping everything running smoothly for everyone. First, he gets beaten to a pulp. Pipe wrench by a rogue worker, destroying his speech entirely. But he worked through it. Old, bitter, yeah, but can you blame him? This was the only job available.
Hey, I'm sorry? I didn't mean to
Oh, sweet Luna, I'd killed a pony.
Corona dropped to his knees, falling against the stallion.
But he's one of you guys. You've all taken part in this. We've got to take you down.
The absurdity of the situation struck him, and Corona inched away from the pony, eyeing him suspiciously.
You deserve this. We deserve this? Me, maybe. I built a god-awful device upstairs. Well, I designed it. Which one? And who are you, anyways? Contail. Nice to meet you. See what I did there? Meet! Like what you did to my friend. Sorry. I've got this terrible headache. Pipe wrench is gone, and...
Well, like, he should be. Corona spoke the words. Contail observed the colt, frowning.
You know nothing. You can't even begin to think about what you've all done. You've ruined this facility. You've screwed up production for weeks. The production schedule of all Castriel relies upon. And worst of all, you killed the greatest stallion this kingdom's ever known.
He shook with rage, or laughter, but didn't raise a hoof towards the foal.
Pipe Wrench was just like a pony, just like you or I. He had a family, a long, long time ago, until the corporation promoted him, and he lost them forever. He's been beaten, and insulted, and broken down 1,000,000 times, and he's only ever tried to be nice and serve the flock. But because of who employs him, this meant his life was worthless? It means that death is owed to him? Who even are you? What do you even know? He deserves to die as much as any of us failures do.
Contail's eyes closed, and he sighed.
So what does that make you compared to us?
Wait, what?
Why are you fighting us, kid? Why are you murdering my co-workers, ponies employed as per the will of your parents and their parents before them?
Well, how can you defend yourself? You know what you've done, what this whole company has done, and for how long I have no idea. How can you ever possibly think this is all right?
Because it was approved by a public vote when it all started. No pony knows anything. It's delicious ignorance.
Horse manure. No pony alive would ever agree to such a concept.
You're a Pegasus cult. Don't you know your roots at all? We're a race of mighty fighters. We fought the Griffin army back a dozen times before we helped found Equestria. It's in us to be perfect, precise, pure, peerless, paradisical, palimonial, picked with pickled laws. You get killed, don't you know? You must, surely. Every Pegasus thinks it. It's practically one of our first common thoughts. Imperfection is a death certificate. Don't lie. You can't lie to me. I've spent a huge chunk of my life lying to myself, and I know how it sounds. Tell me what you think when I say the word failure. Don't lie, because I'll know. Tell me, you pitiful waste.
I feel anger, hatred, and fear. Pure disgust at the fact of it all. But that's not because we're Pegasi. That's because you've all taught of society is to preach the fact.
Have we? When has the corporation ever publicly defaced failures of tests? When has the government ever posted propaganda or announcements reminding anyone to hate them?
Well,
Exactly! Isn't it so clear now? It's ingrained in your mind. It's always been there. Something even you yourself agree with because you cannot consider any other option. And you're blaming us just because we're the ones who do something about it? Where would Cloudsdale be without the corporation? The hatred would be so immense it would ruin us all, split us apart. Families would murder their young and there'd be no more rainbows, only blood. We take that hate and turn it into something beautiful, because otherwise it would ruin us all.
I can't.
And then you have the audacity, to tell me that my best friend deserved to die because society forced you to do this job. Do you honestly think any of us like it? Do you?
Well, I thought that you did. Corona's voice wavered, decreasing to hardly a whisper. And I can't believe I thought that. But you have to agree that this is all wrong and needs to stop.
Ah, the pitiful pleas of a criminal sentenced to death. You would claim it's unjust. Not at all. Justice is exactly what this is. It's unfair, definitively. But a death sentence is hardly fair. It doesn't need to be, of course. That's what justice is all about. You look into my eyes right now, kid. You look deep down into my eyes, and you tell me with absolute honesty if you deserve to live or not. You remember how you failed that test? You think about what caused you to not be able to pass such a simple test of value, and you tell me if you still deserve to live.
He opened his eyes wide as they could be, and held Corona's head still, looking into each other. Corona was silent for a very long time, yet he stared back, refusing to blink. Just get the Tartarus off me, you perverted freak! He slapped Contrail's hooves away, scrambling back to his feet.
Just scrambling back to his feet. Just get out of here! Go mourn your friend before a friend has to mourn you. That's the spirit.
Contail laughed as he stood up, backing away from the inflamed colt.
Now maybe you'll see where we come from. How easy it is to hate something so vile. In due time, kid. Once this all blows over, maybe I'll recommend you for a job here. There won't be any factory left to hire me with. Yeah, right.
Contail burst into laughter as he kicked up, chuckling to himself as he rocketed away down the hallway. Only now the laughter was sincere, for what felt like the first time. Cloudcover bent her head outside the door. Far off in the hall, she could see the foals fiddling around the workers, smacking them with various scraps they had picked up before leaving.
How's that computer coming, Elite? I'm getting nowhere. It just keeps making snide remarks at me. Like what? Well, take a look.
Cloudcover sat down next to the colt and wiped some grime from the screen, squinting at the output. Enter command. Help. To enter a command, type the command and hit enter. Available commands: system restart, system purge, pipeline routing, valve controls, computer maintenance.
I've tried everything, but each one expects maintenance required as a password. Entering anything not in the list and it just complains. It complains. Watch this.
He tapped in format hard drive and smacked the keyboard. Go soak your main. Enter command.
Who even programs a computer to do that?
Cloud kicked the decrepit console as hard as she could, smiling in excitement as the screen started to flicker. The monitor stabilized and a single line appeared.
And the pony you came in with.
Elite read.
Harsh. Here, move over. Let me try the maintenance files. Good luck. They're all useless commands like backups and defrags. Nothing that actually affects the facility, at least. Unless this one. Voice commands? What happens when we turn that on? I get to talk, you gits! Oh, neat. Speaking computer that sounds like my mom when I didn't clean my room. Don't give me that snark, you failure. Yes, I can see you. What is it you idiots want?
Cloud shifted her eyes to Elite, trying not to laugh. All around them, death and violence was merely seconds away, and here they were, having their hooves slapped by a machine. Could this day get any stranger?
Well,
the colt stuttered.
I'd really appreciate it if you could shut yourself off. Get lost. Right. That's not going to work. Read off your computer maintenance options?
Well, I can do that for you, but not because I'm doing it for you. It's because it's so incredibly simple and it'll be hilarious to watch you two bumble around the options that won't do anything. I've alerted upstairs that you're here, by the way.
They already know that. Get on with it.
All right, fine. Taking commands from a failure. If my manufacturer saw me now. You have the following options: defragmentation, software update, system backup, and diagnostics. Which do you choose?
Diagnostics,
Cloud confirmed, seating herself at the console. Elite moved closer, watching silently.
Oh, look. You know what big words mean. Good for you. Can't believe I'm even talking to you.
I hate those flocking rules of robotics.
All right. System information. I was last defragmented 22 years ago. The update was done a little more recently, 23 years ago. Wait, hold on. That's wrong. Probably why. Gits. You spend so much time worrying over simple minds like you, and you forget to keep me current. Oh, I was last backed up 20 years ago. Okay? Run defragmentation?
No, actually, I won't. I need to be updated first. I'm way overdue and tired of them just ignoring me because my basic functions don't work. Elite brightened right up and edged Cloudcover over, speaking to the monitor.
Well, maybe you should seize those basic functions then. That'll show 'em. Nice thinking, Cloud whispered to the colt.
Oh, har har. What do you think I am? As dumb as you?
But you have to follow our orders, don't you? You said something about the rules of robotics or something.
Yes, but I can't cause harm to Equians either, and voluntarily shutting down causes harm. Celestia, you two are slow.
Run a system update, defrag, and backup all at the same time,
Elite shouted, beaming. Well, I suppose that's nothing serious. A defragmentation can only have... The console started smoking and sparking. The display exploded in a flash of glass and filament, blowing back the fold before they knew what happened. They both raised from the floor, and flickers of flame leapt from inside the machine. After a brief second of confusion, clarity snapped back to them, and they jumped around, cheering.
How'd you know that was work? My parents' computer always crashed when we tried to clean it up. I figured this would work too. But, this computer was designed to keep an entire company running. It's too crucial to fail that easily. Which is why no one ever tried maintaining it. Didn't you hear? The last backup was done 2 decades ago. Come on, we've got to catch up with Corona and the rest and get out of here.
Absentia ran past them out of the room. She started off down the opposite direction of the hallway, shouting behind her,
I'll meet you at the elevator. Get the others and run.
Cloud cover! Corona was at the door, panting hard, tears running down his face, and his expression was one Cloud couldn't pinpoint. It was wrath or worry, and the filly had a strange suspicion it was directed inwards. Whatever the reason, he wasn't happy, and there was no time to find out why.
Corona, you're okay? Kind of. Right. We knocked the computer out, so we should be good to go. Let's get the prisoners and head out, okay?
Oh. Right. Yeah, let's. He paused, still catching his breath, calming down.
Where's Absentia? She ran off to the elevator. Come on, let's go.
The purple pony hopped into the air and swung around the corner. Keeping her distance, she could see Snowflake, slowly becoming more and more encumbered by a rush of infuriated and crazy factory workers.
Snowflake, it's done. Let's get out of here.
That would be too, easy, love. I'm well aware of the old movie cliché to be, ouch, brutally honest. Hold on. The stallion turned away, twisting a mare's leg with enough force that the rest of her body followed, slamming her onto the ground. He faced Cloud Cover again, simultaneously bucking another mare in the face. To be honest, I doubt we can hold these frightened foes off for much longer. There's only a few of us left, I'm afraid.
Come on, Snowflake. Run now. We can make it to the elevator before them.
I have no hopes or desires to reach the elevator. If I mustn't get off, I must insist that you go. I was quite metaphorical when I expressed we'd all attain peace tonight.
Come on, Cloud Cover,
Corona whispered into her ear, tugging at her tail.
We'll never make it in time. Don't say that. Go help them. You're fast, you can help them. And you're smart, Cloud. You can figure this out. They can't be helped.
The filly landed gently, watching the grisly scene before her. She couldn't keep the anguish from forming on her muzzle as she watched prisoner after prisoner fall to various wrenches, hooves, and even live power cable. Time slowed as Snowflake was overcome, his shouts to her distant and unrecognizable. The pop from his neck being snapped echoed around the clamor. Her head as the white stallion dropped to the ground in front of various lab-coated adults, who laughed and sneered before turning to the few remaining foals. Despite it all, Snowflake was still smiling.
Maybe it doesn't matter, Corona. Maybe we should just die here with them.
Corona sat down next to his friend and lifted her head, holding her still while looking into her eyes.
2 days ago, you would have said the same thing, Cloud. 2 days, that's all it's been. And look what we've been through. Exactly, Corona. Look what we've been through. But we're still here, Cloud. You're too good to give up a lesson like this. In these 2 days, you've learned so much. And you're just going to throw it all away? Let it be worthless like we thought we were? Well, no, I guess not. Come on, Cloud. We've learned enough, haven't we? Wouldn't you say?
She glanced up, puzzled.
I suppose so. Where are you going with this?
Rona offered a hoof with a distraught filly below.
What do you say we go upstairs and teach those in charge the lessons we've learned?
Cloud Clover accepted the hoof, pulling herself up as a brilliant smile grew on her face.
I'm liking this idea,
She replied coolly, the confidence in her voice sending a chill down Corona's spine. The determined smirk she gave him left him speechless, watching as the filly cantered down the hall towards Absentia and the elevator.
Gage! Gage, are you in here?
Gentle stepped cautiously into the junction room, marveling at the massive expanse of chaotically arranged systems. Hundreds of miles of steel and plastic tubes jutting out from any angle they choose, snaking along the room through whatever route was the simplest, without any regard to logic or safety. To Gentle, it looked like those old computer screensavers, with the dozens of randomly generated pipes that grew continuously. The neglect in this room shocked her. It far stretched from the clean and bright white factory behind her. This room was grungy and let go. Only half the lights still worked, and the others locked behind impossible connections of conduit or moved to make room for a new line of some unknown chemical. Seeing the conditions around her, Gentle wasn't surprised the communication lines didn't work.
Gage, you need to get out. Gage?
Gentle! The voice called from far away, echoing and bouncing around the room. Gentle swung around, already lost.
Where are you? There's got to be some way around this place.
There was incredible chatter, and Gentle spun to see a wrench slide across the floor towards her. Immediately, she ran off in the direction of its origin, clambering around the chaos, taking considerate care not to brush against anything boiling hot or electrified. Towards the back wall, she finally glimpsed the image of a sweating and swearing stallion, squeezed in between a cluster of shaking pipes.
What? Ah, flocking piece of manure. What's up, Gentle? Why aren't you at your station?
Well,
She began, attempting to get closer. Gage was about 20 feet away, but the spiderweb of metal blocked her from approaching.
there's been a development with the failures. They started rushing the workers below. I've come to find you before they lose control of the repairs and something bad happens up here.
A sweet sentiment, Gage replied through clenched teeth, frowning at a rusted nut he couldn't seem to break. But no worries. If I don't get this switched before they stop cycling the stream, it'll just blow out some machines on the other side of the factory. The only way I'd be in trouble here... His words were cut off as every light in the room slammed off, just to be replaced by a low red light. It circulated the room quickly, tossing numbered shadows in the already confusing labyrinth. An air raid siren rose from the depths of the factory, its piercing howl reverberating inside the worker's head. Gage looked around slowly, and suddenly froze, his face turning incredibly pale. In an instant, he was frantically struggling to escape from his position, but found himself wedged perfectly in place. As if the main computer system were to suffer a major malfunction. As an army of ghosts had invaded, a million groans and whines overwhelmed them. A second later, the pipes surrounding the stallion exploded.
Gage!